So now that you've learned to put some pretty colors at the top and group things together, you might wonder, how did we come up with some of these colors as well? Um, when you look at the wall, the colors actually represent students who may need assistance. So green, in this case, means that that student is performing well and does not necessarily need any assistance in that area. Whereas red and then orange and then yellow would mean that they probably need a little bit more assistance. And so when you see a number of red going across a line, you would see that that student probably needs much more personal attention than a student has a lot of green going across the full line. So in order to determine what those colors are, if we go back and look at editing the wall, when you're in an assessment, so I'll go and pick this fall RCBM assessment, and I'm going to edit this. We have built color coding right into here. Note in this middle panel, anytime you make a change to it, there is an OK bottom all the way at, or an OK button all the way at the bottom. And sometimes it doesn't show, so you want to make sure that you scroll down and do that. If you just wanted to practice a little bit, there is an edit on each one of these color bands. And so you can see we just have some ranges picked here from 0 to 74, 75 to 111. If I wanted to edit maybe the green, let's say that we realized, oh, you know what, we had some scores that were higher. We could make the score go all the way to 250. If we go on the color, we could actually change the color if we want, and we could change the point totals. On this particular wall, we have the point totals getting 0 points for anybody who has scored quite well, and 3 points for students who have scored low and probably need more assistance. In future walls, those point totals are actually going to go in reverse, because students who have not taken an assessment will come in at 0 points because they didn't end up with a red, orange, or yellow color coding. So then students with the most number of points, being green, will end up at the top or bottom of the wall, depending on how you sort it. And students with the least number of points, either they need the most amount of assistance, or we just don't have enough information, so we probably want to gather a little bit more before we make any determinations what kind of assistance that student can need. So make sure that if you do make a change in here, you hit the save button, and then when we click OK, it will save all of that information, and we can go back and view the wall. In this case, it didn't change any of the colors because all we did really was change that top number on the range. Now, let's say you wanted to find out, well, how should we really create those bands? You could just make the numbers up, but you can also figure out what those numbers would look like by clicking on the little blue button that shows a student's assessments. This was an Ames Web assessment, and so we can look at all of the Ames Web scores. If we pick one particular Ames Web score, so I think that this was Maze, if I remember correctly. If it doesn't, it's not that big a deal. As long as we're on the score category, if we click on one assessment, we can actually see, by hovering over one of the boxes, you can see the quartiles. So from 0 to 9 is the lowest 25% of students. From 10 to 18 is 25 to 50%. From 19 to 27 is the 50th to the 75th percentile. And from 27 on up to 41, or if you want to make a bigger number, to 50, for example, that would be the top 25%, or the 75th to 100th percentile, or 99th percentile. So in many cases, this is how the color coding was made for those bands. So you could come to this wall, jot these numbers down for the assessment that you're looking for. Notice that this one is a 2014 fall, because you can see that it's near September was when it was taken, and here it was taken in 2014, whereas this one was the 2015 and it was taken near January, so this would have been the winter and the fall of this past year for Ames Webb maze for this student. These numbers are local norms, so any student in our district who has taken the assessment, it's just a simple calculation of what these quartiles are. They could be used for personal goal setting and for monitoring growth, but you might need more assistance and create a bit better plan if you're setting up an intervention for the student. So once you've determined what those numbers are, you can go in and you're editing your wall, picking on a specific assessment, and you can go through and edit those pieces. If I wanted to have an additional color in here, or so if you were adding something from scratch to your wall and there was no color coding in this yet, you would just hit the add sign here, and then you can get another range. So if I wanted to go from 251 to 900, we could just add this in and pick a new color and hit save and OK, and we're done. And if anything fell in that range, it would show up as blue on the other wall. So that's how you can add a little bit of color coding and points to help determine your strongest students and those that are in most need of assistance.